Hello, everybody. Welcome to this game day edition of the Pack-A-Day podcast. Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Bucs, Packers, Brady, Rodgers. This is set to be a epic matchup. I can't wait for this game. Thanks for joining me here on YouTube. If you don't know me, my name is Andy Herman. You can always follow me on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Today I'm going to be going over my 3 keys to victory for the Green Bay Packers, or if you would prefer, my 3 keys to this game, whether you're a Tampa fan or a Green Bay fan. I'm assuming most of you are Packers fans, but let's go over those 3 keys to victory. Before I get to that, I do want to start by going over Equanimeous St. His return to the team. He is back. Green Bay activated him on Saturday. No Kamal Martin, but EQ does get activated. No bumps up from the practice squad. So just one person brought up this week, and that is EQ from IR to the active roster. If you missed it earlier this week, one of the reasons I'm so excited about Equanimeous St. and his return is because he hasn't had a chance in this Matt LaFleur offense yet, and I cannot wait to see what he looks like. His skill set really works well with what Matt LaFleur wants to do. We've seen some of the motions and some of, Alan Lazard getting open in the flat. Well, now imagine that that's EQ from the slot, moving in motion on some of those play action boot fakes, getting him in space. He's a better route runner than I think a lot of people are going to expect. He's got soft hands. He can run after the catch. I am very excited about this. It'll be interesting to see how they start to integrate him in the offense, how, the snaps go between him, Darius Shepard, and Malik Taylor. I have to believe that the best 3 wide receivers that they have the opportunity to put on the field are Devontae Adams, MVS, and EQ this week, and I'll be really interested to see how Matt LaFleur uses EQ. So that is a big elevation this week from the IR to the active roster. EQ's first time being active in the Matt LaFleur era. I cannot wait. I think he could be a legitimate X factor in this game. We'll see what type of snaps he gets. I would be surprised if he wasn't active, but we'll see what the inactives list brings on Sunday. But very, very excited about EQ being active and activated from the IR list and ready to play against Tampa Bay. All right, let's jump in to those 3 keys to victory for either team this coming Sunday, as I do every Packers game day. Number 1, and I promised you I would not do this, so I apologize, but there's no way around it. Number 1 in this game is turnovers, and I get turnovers could be the X factor every single week for every game, for every team. It's the number 1 indicator of success in any game, period, but it just feels like this game is ripe to turn on a turnover play. And I'm not jinxing this, I promise you. I am wearing my Lucky Packers sweatshirt, so any jinx I am about to put on the Packers, I promise you I'm counteracting it by wearing my Lucky Packers sweatshirt. I do feel like Green Bay is due for some turnover-worthy play. Aaron Rodgers hasn't come close to throwing an interceptable ball. The only time the ball has hit the ground for the Packers, Aaron Jones fumbled it out of bounds. And when you are going into your 5th game of the season, that's just very rare to continue that. Now, New Orleans put the ball on the ground a ton against Green Bay. I think it was 3 separate times, and only one time did Green Bay get it on the on Za'Darius's turnover against Taysom Hill. So just because they maybe put the ball on the ground or throw an interceptable pass doesn't mean that Tampa takes advantage of it. On the flip side, Tampa Bay has been much more turnover prone. Tom Brady's thrown a couple pick sixes recently. He's been more prone to that interceptable ball. And I just don't think Tampa has the ability to overcome one of those turnover-worthy plays. If Tampa and Tom Brady throws a pick 6 to Jair or Chandon Sullivan, Josh Jackson, Darnell Savage, whomever it may be, I just don't think they have the ability to overcome that. And again, I do feel like Green Bay is due for a turnover-worthy play. Whether they actually turn the ball over or not will remain to be seen, but it does feel like a little bit that they're ripe for that to happen. And I am very concerned about no Tyler Ervin. He is very safe and reliable as a returner. Whether it's Josh Jackson or Darius Shepard or Malik Taylor, I just don't have that same level of trust with those players as I do with Tyler Ervin, whether it be returning kicks or returning punts. And as I mentioned the other day, just fair catch the ball. If you don't get a yard returning in this game, but you take care of the football, that is a win on special teams. You can beat Tampa Bay straight up as long as you don't have those big turnover-worthy plays. You don't need a huge play on special teams. Just take care of the football. Don't do anything stupid. Catch the ball. and get away with that. And you also have a player like EQ, who we just talked about, returning. He hasn't seen the field in over a year plus. If he gets the ball, is he maybe, prone to a turnover, maybe not, concealing the ball quite as much as he normally would. Just those sorts of things. I'm concerned about that from a Green Bay standpoint, but I also think if you said there were 2 or 3 turnovers in this game, I'd say that's advantage Green Bay, because I think Tampa Bay is the team that's more likely to have these type of mistakes. The only other concern that I have with this, perspiration. Green Bay, not used to this 90-degree heat in Tampa Bay. They're not used to having that extra sweat and perspiration on the football. That could be another factor in this game. So while I told you that I would not use turnovers as one of my 3 keys to the game, in this game it just feels appropriate that number 1 on this list has to be turnovers and taking care of the football. If Green Bay does that, I love their chances in this game. Number 2, and this is another really easy one, so I apologize. I'm not, I'm taking the low-hanging fruit a little bit here. I'm not, digging really deep into these matchups, but it's true. They're 1,000,000% true. Number 2 on this list is getting pressure on Tom Brady. Tom Brady is somebody that if you allow him to sit in the pocket, he will tear you apart. And the more calm and the more comfortable that he gets as the game goes on, the more that Tampa Bay has the opportunity to win this football game. And I think Mike Pettin is really in an interesting situation here, because number 1, I think you want to try to get there with 4 players. I think you want to try to get there with Za'Darius Smith and Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary, assuming Rashawn Gary and Za'Darius Smith are both active, but Kenny Clark, Kingsley Keke. Your best route to success is by getting there with 4 players and covering with 7. If you can do that, you are at a huge advantage. However, if you don't bring pressure, or if you only bring 4 and don't get there with your 4, Tom Brady's going to start to get in that rhythm, start to get in that groove, and he's going to pick you apart, and he's going to feel calm, he's going to feel confident, and you are in for a very long day. So Mike Pettin has a very interesting choice to begin this game. Do you start going ideal and say, hey, I'm going to bring my 4-man rush because I feel like they can get there, especially maybe against Donovan Smith at that left tackle spot? Or do you say, you know what, I don't have time to sit and wait and see if my 4 guys can get there. I'm going to bring 5 guys. I'm going to bring 6 guys, because at no point in this game do I want Tom Brady to feel comfortable, and I'm going to trust Jair. I'm going to trust Josh Jackson, Kevin King if he's available. I'm going to trust Darnell Savage, Shannon Sullivan. I'm going to trust those guys, even though they're against some really good wide receivers. I can't let Brady get comfortable, and if that means that I allow some points, so be it, but I cannot let him get in a rhythm. So watch for that early. Watch to see how Mike Pettin tries to pressure Tom Brady. Does he bring 4? Does he bring 5? Does he bring 6? I think that's going to be a really interesting situation in this game. He would love to bring 4 and get there with 4, but he can't risk letting Brady get in that rhythm. And then my third and final key to this game is the Bucs safeties, both Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jordan Whitehead. And from 2 different, basically viewpoints here. One, Antoine Winfield has the ability to be a game changer in this game. He can fly to the football. He can make plays. He can play that single high safety. He can play some in the slot. You want to try to avoid him, and you want to make sure that he's not the one making the play on the football. And I know Aaron Rodgers is somebody that is more likely to take advantage of a rookie safety than maybe throw a turnover-worthy ball to Antoine Winfield, but this is a player who can fly to the football, get anywhere he wants on the field. One of my favorite players from this past year's draft, even though he's from the University of Minnesota. Give him a pass on it. But he is a very talented football player. You cannot allow him to be the difference maker in this game. I already mentioned yesterday how I think the loss of Vita Vea is going to be big for those inside linebackers, Levante David and Devin White, maybe not being able to fly to the football quite as much. I'm looking at Antoine Winfield to be a playmaker for that Bucs defense. Green Bay's got to avoid him. On the flip side, Jordan Whitehead is the weak link of that defensive backfield. You have the ability to take advantage of him, whether it be on double moves, free plays, if you can get him matched up one-on-one. That is a target that I guarantee Matt LaFleur has circled this week that he wants to take advantage of. And whether he can get a wide receiver, a tight end, a running back, especially Aaron Jones, I think if you can get some mismatches with Jordan Whitehead, that is an opportunity to take advantage of. And I think Green Bay can win by looking at some of those safety matchups, especially with Jordan Whitehead. So again, my 3 keys: turnovers and making sure that Green Bay takes care of the football. A little bit, cliche, I get it, I'm sorry. Pressure on Tom Brady, and then taking advantage of Jordan Whitehead while making sure Antoine Winfield is not the difference maker in this game. I hope you enjoy this football game. I know I can't wait. We have not exactly got to see a ton of Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers in our lifetime. It's only happened twice. They've each won once. This is at least the rubber match for the time being. Maybe they'll match up again in the playoffs or in the future now that both are in the NFC. Brady looks like he can play till he's 48 at this point, so we'll see. But this is at least for the time being the rubber match between the two. I can't wait for a full Sunday slate of action, including Bucs and Packers. Thanks for following along here on YouTube. My name's Andy Herman. Until next time, and as always, and especially today against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, go Pack Go.